Now in the middle of one of the most significant eras in automotive, Carl Anthony amplifies the minds and voices behind this historic transformation as the host of AutoVision News Radio.
Mic check 1, 2.
All while coming to terms with middle age, father loss, and what it means to be successful in Detroit.
Like many kids in the late 1980s and early 90s, my collection of Hot Wheels and Matchbox cars were displayed on every available surface in my bedroom, while posters of fast exotics adorned my walls. But since I grew up in rural Iowa, trucks were the single most important vehicle and everybody was on a side: Ford, Chevy, or Dodge. In 1999, my junior year of high school, we had to write a paper on essentially what we wanted to be when we grew up. I remember interviewing the general sales manager for one of the local dealerships in town, trying to get a sense for what a career in automotive might look like. Typing away on my late father's Dell computer in the basement with Sioux City's Best Mix KG95 to keep me company, I put together what I thought life might look like should automotive be the ticket. That 17-year-old kid in me had a field day recently when Magna International invited me to a tech event hosted at its facility in Troy, Michigan. Inside sleek test vehicles with knowledgeable Magna team members at the helm, I experienced some unique camera solutions for towing and was left nearly speechless by Magna's AutoVision. To help me wrap my mind around Magna's product lineup and its overall focus as one of the automotive industry's most recognizable companies, I talked with Tom Rucker, president of Magna's Power and Vision and Complete Vehicles groups. Tom has held executive-level positions with Magna's powertrain division over the years, including Senior Vice President of Metal Forming Solutions and Transmission Systems, Senior Vice President for Program Management and Launch Excellence, and then as President for Magna's Powertrain Division. A 25-year Magna veteran, Tom has experience working throughout both Europe and North America. He is a graduate of the Technical University in Berlin, where he received degrees in mechanical engineering and business administration. As we began our conversation, Tom shared some of his story and how he came to Magna.
Moving at the speed of mobility, this is AutoVision News Radio with Carl Anthony in Detroit, Michigan.
I was born and raised in Mexico. My parents are German. My first job, I'm a mechanical engineer. I did some business administration as a master's as well. But my first job was really as a general contractor in big industrial projects like steel mills, petrochemical plants, and so on. I was living and working in Venezuela and decided that I had to leave because of the political situation there. And through interesting set of coincidences, Magna was looking to open up their first powertrain plant in Ramos in Mexico. I got offered the job. That was my first job in Magna, to open up a plant. It's one of our largest facilities now. And I guess I got stuck. I love the how dynamic the industry is, and never looked back, and wouldn't see myself doing anything else.
At the time of this broadcast, Magna's global network includes 345 manufacturing facilities and 105 product development, engineering, and sales centers spanning 28 countries. Despite its global presence, Magna's organizational structure is designed to spur innovation as if it were a startup. And this startup mindset has led Magna down some interesting roads. For example, in the 1990s, when I was writing my high school paper and arguing with my friends about which truck was the best, Magna was looking at hydroforming technology from the plumbing industry, later developing that into a high-pressure process for truck frames. Magna would eventually secure the business of the largest truck program in the world at the time, despite never having built a truck frame. These days, Magna is leveraging both its global footprint and startup roots to accommodate a range of powertrains, from ICE and hybrid to full electrification.
Magna has a really long and rich history in powertrain. I think we're famous for our all-wheel drive products, transfer cases, all-wheel drive couplings, and so on and so forth. And several years ago, with the acquisition of GetTrack, we also got a strong position in dual clutch transmissions. And really, those products consists of a set of building blocks, mostly traditional building blocks like a clutch system, hydraulic system. And we added 3 building blocks to start addressing electrification, which is really electric traction motors, inverters, and software. And by combining all these building blocks, we found out that we can and have developed a product lineup that really covers everything from traditional ICE vehicle to all the different hybrid systems that we know, and obviously to the extreme of battery electric vehicles. There's been a lot of talk about the adoption rate of electrification lately. I think as Magna, we've been maybe more conservative than some competitors and OEMs in the past. But our strategy is to be really agnostic in terms of the source of the power in the vehicle, but we want to focus on bringing that power to the wheels. In that regard, I think we can utilize our existing asset base and our products and be very confident depending on how the market evolves. We've created a group called the New Mobility Group, and we're treating it a little bit as a startup within our own company, but we do see a lot of opportunities there. So whether it's battery swapping technology, software around that, mobility in industrial applications, which we can use. So for example, automated transport units for logistic and manufacturing, combined with data science, generative AI, Industry 4.0 activities. So that's the broader vision of mobility that we see. And I think it blends really well with our traditional products and knowledge.
The term software-defined car is now part of our automotive lexicon. The definition will likely change depending on who you ask, but Magna's approach is about intelligent integration to increase vehicle functionality and to enhance the user experience.
If you think about it, the way we have been designing and delivering products to our customer in the past, it was the typical V development model where our customers would ask us to design and deliver a product for one cycle. Now, this product always had hardware and software. People sometimes forget in a transmission, for example, the vast majority of the content already 10, 15 years ago was always software. But I think now we use it in a different context. I do believe that the software-defined vehicle, it's a buzzword, but definitely the car of the future will be a software-defined vehicle. And it's all about integrating communication, software, vehicle engineering in a very seamless way. We also believe that there's a inflection point coming right now where probably we're going to see a decoupling of the software itself and the compute unit. So think about apps, bigger central compute units in the vehicle. So in order to do that, you need to have the system knowledge, the vehicle knowledge, to be able to supply even sensors. I mean, we're pretty big in sensors, whether it's ultrasonic cameras, radar bells, and so on and so forth. But using those sensors to provide added functions and capabilities through software, I think that's where the future lies.
In January of 2023, Magna's ClearView made its production debut for Ram HD trucks, the 2500 and the 3500. So what ClearView does is it bundles camera and mirror technology to reduce blind spots and increase overall visibility for the driver, which is super helpful if they're towing a trailer with one of these big workhorse-style trucks. Magna's ClearView system includes an interior rear-view video mirror, exterior mirrors with integrated cameras, and then a center high-mounted brake lamp camera at the back of the truck. There's an additional trailer camera that's available to assist with towing duties of any kind, so on the open road at higher speeds or during low-speed maneuvers like in a parking lot. You can switch between an optical rear view and a video display that shows up to 3 camera views simultaneously. When it comes to trucks, there's a tendency to focus on the big numbers because the big numbers are cool. For example, the 2024 Ram 3500 HD has a max payload capacity of up to 7,680 pounds and a max towing capacity of up to 37,090 pounds when properly equipped. The 6.7-liter Cummins high-output turbo diesel for the Ram 3500 produces 420 horsepower and 1,075 pound-feet of torque. So yeah, you can tow and haul anything you want with these trucks. But with big vehicles, it's the little things like ClearView that matter.
Yeah, it's funny that you said that because, I oversee this power and vision segment. And the reason we put that together was really because we saw early on that the combination of cameras, lighting, software, ADAS is really a magical space, in a space that brings a lot of opportunity for us. So we see ourselves as a supplier for complete intelligent vision systems. We make a lot of mirrors, all types of mirrors, of course. We are the largest supplier of cameras, and we're a big ADAS supplier. And combining those things, I think our best example today is our DMS, is a driver monitoring system that's built into the inside mirror. So it creates a lot of advantages for the OEM. It reduces the styling impact because you don't see the camera, but at the same time, you have the best possible angle, unobstructed view to the driver. So with that, again, we reduce cost for the OEM, but add a lot of functionality. And we are bringing this to the next level by combining our DMS with our ClearView mirror. So now you could have a front-facing camera, combine it with our DMS and do things like driver and passenger detection, driver behavior, seatbelt detection. Part of our long-term vision is we want to make mobility more accessible, but most importantly, safer, smarter, and cleaner. So if you think about many of the products that we have around the vision systems are focused on making the experience safer, not only for the driver, but also for other participants in traffic.
Like software-defined cars, EVs are another term at the top of our automotive lexicon. A prevailing question when it comes to EVs is when, in what year, and at what time can we expect X percentage of consumer adoption, followed by the next increase in percentage, and the next, until eventual full adoption. I admire the professionals in the automotive industry who are good at these types of forecasts. If this is you, and you're good at seeing trends like this, you have my respect. If you are uncertain about the future, no matter what your talents are in the automotive industry, I take some inspiration from Magna's approach here. Stay true to a unifying vision and core values, and work outward from there.
We've spent a lot of time thinking about what the future could look like. Our vision points to that, which is advancing mobility for everyone and everything, but in a responsible way, and making vehicles more accessible, smarter, safer, and cleaner. Since we don't know exactly how the future or how fast the trends are going to materialize, and the auto industry currently is in this uncertain moment where electrification was pushed really hard a couple of years ago. Now it seems to be that it's slowing down. I like to say we are strategically agnostic, because with that, we reduce limitations of putting all our eggs in one basket. And what I mean with that is we can cover all different segments or propulsion types right now. In fact, if electrification takes a little longer, that means we're going to make some of our traditional products for a longer period of time. Combined with all of that is the thought of sustainability, of course. I think at the end of the day, that is going to drive through policy a lot of the technology. We as Magna are committed to be or achieve net zero emission target by 2050, but we also believe that once you get more into renewable energies, battery electric vehicles will start taking off again, and we'll be ready for that.
While on site for the tech event, I rode in a demonstrator vehicle with Magna's IntelligentCommand, and this was one of the highlights of the day. With regard to its functionality, there are a few key terms and an acronym, DHD, that you will see. Here's a look at the terminology and functionality around IntelligentCommand. I'll define the DHD acronym, and then I'll use ICE as shorthand for internal combustion engine. But as a baseline, IntelligentCommand contains the dedicated hybrid drive DHD Plus at the front and the eDrive Mid Plus at the rear axle. The complete system is designed for plug-in hybrid and full hybrid applications and leverages advanced software-based operating strategies to provide better performance and efficiency. DHD stands for Dedicated Hybrid Drive. So DHD Plus, or Dedicated Hybrid Drive Plus, is the name given to a specific transmission developed by Magna. It's a dual-clutch transmission integrated with a high-power, high-voltage e-motor. eDrive Plus refers to one of Magna's 3-in-1 eDrive systems. The Mid Plus designation represents its power level within Magna's eDrive family, which also has low and high power options. The eDrive Mid Plus system has options for things like disconnection and torque vectoring. The IntelligentCommand demonstrator vehicle that I rode in as part of Magna's Tech Day had torque vectoring capability. Inside our demonstrator vehicle was a touchscreen that showed the power distribution in real time as we drove, and it was really cool to watch. IntelligentCommand utilizes that e-motor integrated into the dedicated hybrid Drive Plus transmission, along with a second rear eDrive. The combination allowed our demonstration vehicle to drive like a battery electric vehicle, but then add ICE power when needed. The e-motor contained within the dedicated hybrid Drive Plus can start the ICE engine at any given time, and likewise the ICE engine can, in turn, charge the high-voltage battery. In steady-state cruising, the electric motors disconnect to minimize drag, allowing the ICE engine to solely power the front wheels through the dedicated hybrid Drive Plus transmission. Magna engineers later explained to me that IntelligentCommand is designed specifically to engage and disengage clutches between gear changes without power interruption. For me as a passenger, this meant that even though I could see the transitions visually through the graphic animations on the center touchscreen display, I could not actually feel them. The gear changes were seamless to me as a passenger, even under a heavy acceleration scenario. Despite my best efforts here, my description of IntelligentCommand doesn't do it justice. If you ever get the chance, I encourage you to take a demo drive with the Magna team. The creativity of how it's all designed, how it all works, that has really stuck with me. As our conversation came to a close, I asked Tom, where do Magna engineers get their creative inspiration from?
That is a great question, and it's all about the people in our company and the culture in our company. Every company can buy assets, can purchase technology, and can compete, but what makes us different are the people that work here. We have an incredible pool of talent and some very passionate engineers that love what they do and want to identify with our vision and our mission. And we have to create the environment for them to fail quick, because that's what innovation is. You cannot expect that 10 out of 10 projects that you start to innovate will become reality. Having that liberty, understanding that failure is not failure, but is actually another step to success in a creative environment, I think is a key to our success.
See the links in the show notes to learn more about Magna International and software-defined vehicles. AutoVision News Radio is on the digital antennas of Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, and more. In Troy, Michigan, alongside Tom Rucker, I'm Carl Anthony, AutoVision News Radio.